This is an October update on my 112 gallon average reef. This month things are looking good again, the corals are all growing well, I've added a few new pieces, and overall I'm pretty happy with the tank. Before I get into the new additions though, I'm going to talk a little bit about my clownfish. This picture is from October 2006. It's now been 13 years since I've had this clownfish. Originally I did get a pair of naked ocellaris. Unfortunately the male did die some time ago, but the female has been fine on her own ever since. Back then these guys were pretty new and no one really knew how the mutation would affect their lifespan, but I don't see any reason why she won't be with me for many more years to come. Coincidentally, she has swam over to where I have some new corals. This is a bit of a cluttered look for me. I don't really like the tiles and plugs, but I have these corals, I want to add them, and there's no other room. I added these clove polyps primarily because the tile they were on was covered in algae. My tanks made short work of that, and hopefully it won't be long until they are as big as these ones. They're certainly a lot more colorful. This is a Porites, a species of coral I've never kept. I don't really like it leaning against this rock, but I have nowhere else to put it for now. I've also added a little Utter Chaos frag. If you watched my video last month, you'll remember this rock was basically white. I added it for the Barbanki, and now it's colored up quite nice. The other new piece here is Suspiciularia. This is one of my all-time favorite species of coral. I love the color of it, especially from the top down. Now this does tend to grow pretty quick, thus the reason for the tile. As much as I dislike the look of it, it will keep it under control for at least a couple of months. If you look behind it to the right, I have a beautiful rainbow chalice. Unfortunately, it's pretty difficult to film at this angle. Originally I stuck this piece in because it wasn't doing well in my frag tank, and it's bounced back nicely here. I don't really like the look of the tile, but hopefully it won't be too long until it starts to cover it. Over here, my jack-o'-lantern lepto is starting to grow over the glue, so the only other spot I have is under these candy canes here. This is my display tank, so I try and make it as much of a display as possible and as little of a fruit stand as possible. The Pectinia is also on a tile, but you can hardly notice this one. The only reason it's there is so that it won't encrust directly onto the glass. Basically, the main rock work is completely covered in coral. The only way I could add something new is if I were to remove something like some of these mushrooms. There just really isn't any more room in the tank, unfortunately. The side view is still my favorite, and while there is that one spot in the corner, I'm not really too keen on sticking a coral there that I'll only look at from the side. If you look closely, you'll see that the lepto is really growing up this Kenya tree, and it still doesn't seem to be bothered. It's probably half an inch to 3/4 of an inch covered. And who knows, maybe in a few more months it'll be a couple inches up. Obviously it's not a big deal if the Kenya tree does die, since I have millions of them, but it would be pretty cool to see it slowly covered up. So here's from the front again. It does look a little bit cluttered in my opinion. Of course I've got the rhizo almost touching everything else, and it does have quite a powerful sting. If you want to leave some constructive criticism, feel free to say I have too many corals in here, or these new pieces make everything look unnatural. It won't hurt my feelings. I'm not really sure what else I can do next. I could add a few more fish, but I'm not really planning any upgrades anytime soon. I would like to be more established before I get a bigger tank and move away from this average reef. Thanks for watching, and happy reefing.